So let's see, today's Tuesday. 12. You're so tall. A lot of times students knock on the door and I don't see anybody in your head like this.
That's me.
We're doing.
That's literally me.
Okay, so we're still looking at inequalities today. Our rules are still the same today. I think that's the key piece here. We aren't actually adding any new information today. Okay, the rule is still that we are going to flip the inequality sign if we multiply or divide by negative. Okay, we are going to flip the inequality sign if we have to rewrite it with the variable first. And we are going to solve them in the same order that we have been solving for the last 2 weeks. Okay, which means our steps say, I don't know how many times we've written this down. If there are parentheses, we distribute. Okay, if there are like terms, combine them. You'll notice they keep getting shorter each time. Okay, if a large fraction, we'll multiply by the denominator. Oops. We'll undo addition and subtraction, and then we will undo multiplication and division. Here's the key. The more steps we allow to happen, the more possibilities there are for us to have to flip the inequality sign. So really at this point, other than maybe needing a very, very short, brief list like this, we should know what steps we are undoing. And if you're like, I just don't have a clue, I can't figure this out, there is no magical solution other than practice, 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 and practice some more. Come to plus time. I will give you 42 two-step equations in a row. And if you do that many of them, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know which one I need to move first because I've done it 100 times.
You've done it 42 times.
42 times in that situation, but if we add it on to the ones you've done in class, I think you'll be past 100. Okay? You have to see them over and over to know what you need to do next. So for example, let's look at this. 16 is less than or equal to negative 2y minus 4 over negative 3.
Times the negative 16.
Okay, so if we look at this problem, are there parentheses?
No.
No. So we skip. Are there like terms we can combine?
No.
Nope. Is there a large fraction?
Yeah.
Yes. So we need to multiply, and we're going to multiply by this denominator. So we'll undo dividing by negative 3 by multiplying by negative 3. Now, I don't care if you write your multiplication underneath it or to the side. That's not what's important to me. And I already see some of you doing it. What is 16 times negative 3?
Negative 48.
Negative 48. Is this a reason to flip the inequality sign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right? This is negative. So the sign flips. Okay, over here we have negative 2y minus 4 left. Okay, then we're going to undo any addition or subtraction. So we are going to add the 4. Is adding 4 a reason to flip the inequality sign? Nope. Then we are going to undo any multiplication or division. So we're going to divide by -2. That is a reason to flip the sign. So now we have positive 22.
Oh, wait.
2 negatives make a positive.
You got flip it again.
Okay, but now we have to rewrite it with the variable first, which is another reason to flip the inequality sign. Okay, if you are still trying to decide how you undo subtraction, okay, your brain isn't going to be able to think about what's happening with this sign right here. It's a lot to keep track of when you're doing all the different problems. It's easy to forget. Right? I just said it and I wrote it down backwards. I do it all the time. So I want to look at a couple things. There's 2 specific problems that I've noticed as I've been going through quizzes and I've been working with you one-on-one. There's 2 specific things that are the sort of consistent mistake I'm seeing. Mistake number 1 is that we are not combining like terms correctly. So 8x minus 4 minus 3x is greater than 39. As a whole, when I work with you all individually, you realize that you need to get these 2 things together. That's not a problem. You'll all tell me that. Okay, the problem is actually doing the correct math to get them together. Okay, we do not want to write anything underneath. We are simply looking as they are. So here's a number here, and here's the number here. Okay, if it helps, cover up all the other stuff. Right? If you ignore this, what do you see?
8 minus 3.
8 minus 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. Then deal with the stuff that's left over.
Plus 4.
Okay, you have to do exactly what you see. Okay, then here's the next mistake I see in a problem like this. Right? We agree we should add 4.
5.
And my students go, Mrs. and Kenny,
Done.
I made a mistake. Something's wrong. Okay, your answers do not have to be integers. What's an integer?
Low number.
No. It's a specific type of number. What type of number?
A negative number.
It does include negatives. What does it not include? Do you know what it does not include, Nathan? 0 is included.
Positive.
I think I heard it. Fraction. Okay, fractions. So integers introduce negative numbers, like Nathan said, but they do not introduce fractions yet. Okay, there is nothing that says the answer has to be an integer. Fractions are our friends. They are numbers too. It is just fine. I don't care what form you write the answer in, it just needs to be reduced. Yes, Judith?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I spaced out. So you combine both to get the 5x, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because like there was 2 boxes and that I spaced out.
Right, so I'm doing 8 minus 3
Yeah.
to get the 5.
And then just bring on the rest.
Yep.
Okay, then yeah.
Okay, here is the other common mistake that I have noticed. Okay, so we see parentheses. If we see parentheses, what do we need to do? Distribute. So I'm going to take what number here? -2. That negative goes with the 2. If you don't take that negative with it, everything else is wrong. a negative 2, which gives us a negative 2a. A negative 2 times a negative 4 gives us what?
8.
Positive 8. And those two things take care of the sign. Right? You might say, but it was a negative. Well, yes, but a negative and subtraction are the same thing.
And minus 8.
Why say them differently? Is that what you said?
No.
Oh, I thought I...
I was way far from what I said.
Okay, so now we're here. We have like terms here.
True.
What is 6 plus 8?
I don't know.
Did you say 11?
No, I said I don't know. I'm just
How do we undo adding 14?
subtracting.
14.
Okay, so 10 minus 14 is a negative. Is that a reason to flip the sign?
No.
No, because it's still subtraction. Which also, speaking of, up here, what did I multiply by?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So how come I didn't flip the
Because
sign?
you didn't
Because you
multiply
distributed.
by the
Right? I didn't take it to the other side. I was just distributing. I wasn't solving. I was simplifying. Okay, then we'll divide by a negative 2. Is that a reason to flip the sign?
Yup.
Yes.
Yes.